3 days post-op, and I got home last night. I really didn't even want to film today, but I really don't want to give up filming every day, so this is probably going to be a very quick one, but I'm just not feeling good. I think today is probably going to be the worst I feel. Pain, medication, then I will be in hospital, so I've got more pain. I feel extremely tired and drained. I did have 2 bags of blood before I left hospital yesterday, and I was hoping that that was going to make me feel a little bit better, but I feel a bit like a zombie, to be honest. And my mobility's been good though. I've been walking around with one crutch, and Eric can't believe it. When I walk, he's just like watching me, can't believe it. The first thing he said when he woke up this morning, I could hear him because it was still dark, but I heard him say to Ollie, Daddy, has Mummy got her new hip? That was the first thing he said this morning, and just felt like crying. I just can't believe it. But yeah, I've been using one crutch, and my foot feels really weird when I walk. So on my right hand side, which is the operated leg, which is the side I've got the hip replacement, when I walk on that side, like when I put weight down, when my foot goes down to take a step, the foot feels like all the around, like the heel area, all the foot feels a bit like it's struggling to take the weight. I can't really explain it. It's probably completely normal, and it's probably to do with the fact that I haven't walked on that leg for months and months, and it hasn't took weight for ages. But it just feels like my ankle's struggling a bit on that side. So I've been like trying to do some basic exercises when I'm sat down and try and rest it also as much as possible. But the actual leg itself, apart from the thigh where the cut is, they're absolutely killing. But around like all my glutes are like, I can feel them tensing, and my leg definitely just feel a little bit strong. So the hydro has worked wonders. And like I said, I'm managing with one crutch. And that's all really. I'm trying to nap when Felix naps today, and we haven't been out. Eric really wants to go out, but we can't manage it today. Eric really wants to go swimming tomorrow, so we're probably going to have to take the mobility scooter though, because swimming is it's like about a 25-minute walk, and I really don't think I'm going to be able to walk there and back 4 days after getting a hip replacement. But today, what did I do for the first time? Oh, I held Felix in my arms and I walked with him a couple steps. I had a crutch on my left side, and I held him in my right side. I'll try and get Ollie to film me doing it later, but I took a few steps like around our landing holding him, and I haven't done that since I was in hospital with him at Jessup. I haven't held him since then and walked at the same time, so that was a big moment. What else? I was in the kitchen and I carried in a plate to the kitchen because I had one hand free because I only had one crutch. That's the first time I've done that again in like literally ages. I was joking around until I was like, I'll be back to get my own cup of tea soon. My back's hurting, like where they put this, where I had the spinal and the epidural. My back's hurting, my foot feels weird. And that's all I've got to say. I'm probably honestly just going to post this video as today's video. I haven't really got anything else to show. I've just been trying to function, and I've been doing some activities today with Eric, and that's it. But I really didn't want to not film today and not post my video because I'm trying to do it every day in December, and I know this might be really boring, I'm sorry, but hopefully life is going to change a lot now, and we're going to have some really fun things coming up. It's actually just a week now until we're going to be in Leeds for Lotherton Hall. We're going on Friday for the big Christmas thing. We're staying over. I've got tickets for the North Pole as well. I'm really excited about that. I'm hopefully just going to be fine. Using one crutch, or I might take 2, I'm not sure, but I don't have to worry about that right now, and I'm just going to try and take it easy. That's really difficult for me to say because I'm the sort of person that's like, right, I'm off, you know, but I really need to try and take it easy and listen to my body, because I really want this hip replacement to be like the best one I'm ever going to get, and if I treat it right, it will last for decades, and this recovery process is really important. So I want to listen to my body, and I want to do it right, and if that means that, you know, it's going to be maybe a week or so before I walk down the road, even with crutches, then fine. I just want to make sure that I don't overdo it and then it'll be compensated afterwards. And I don't want to go back to anything bad after all this I've been through. So I am going to take it easy, which is really difficult for someone like me to say. But please give me motivation to listen to myself, because otherwise I'm going to be like, right, I'm walking down to swimming tomorrow without crutches 4 days after getting a hip replacement. And I don't think that's a good idea. So we'll see how I get on. I'm actually going to, oh, please ignore the stain on my top, by the way. I look and feel gross today. I'm so sorry. This is going out to thousands of people as well, but I'm just trying to keep it real, and I really want to be able to look back on these videos in a couple of years' time and be like, oh my God, is that what you went through? So yeah, I'm sorry. I've got greasy hair, but I did have a shower yesterday and I'm going to have a shower later on as well. And I think I might actually be able to film a little bit when I'm walking. How weird is this? I haven't done this in ages. It feels, when I walk, my hip actually feels fine. There's no pain in the hip itself at all. All the pain is just from the side, like where the cut is. There's no pain in the hip joint or anything like that. Felix is really tired and Eric's really tired as well, so he's just been sat in bed with me watching iPad and having some snacks and having his unicorn hot water bottle. Oh, we're having an early night tonight. Please let me know what you're doing this weekend. If anyone's doing something really good, please let me know. I haven't planned anything for this entire week because I wasn't sure like how I was going to be feeling or like what I was going to be like mobility wise. So the next thing we've got planned is Lotherton Hall in Leeds on Friday. We haven't got any other plans this week, and Eric's not at nursery either, so I'm just going to play it by ear and see what happens. But definitely can't be in all week, and definitely not going to be in all week. And I promise you're not going to have to look at these awful videos of my face talking about nothing for all week. Like, they are going to get more exciting, I promise. Apparently it might snow. Did anyone hear it might snow tonight? A couple inches apparently. Yeah, I was watching the news earlier on. I'm just going to do a few more steps walking about vlogging because it feels really funny when I do it. Because I used to, obviously when I had a hip, I used to film and walk around a bit. Yeah, I'm going to get back in bed with you. I think I am pretty straight, really, you know? Do you want to see the massive plaster on the side of my leg? I haven't actually talked about the procedure either, have I? I really need to talk about that before I forget. But just quickly, I was awake through the whole thing. I had only a mild sedative compared to last time I had when I had my hip out and I had the hip spacer in August. I had loads of sedatives and I like honestly wasn't even there. I wasn't really awake. I can't remember anything. But this time I like had a very mild sedative and I could hear everything. I even felt the hip spacer being pulled out and like twisted and all pulled out, and then like bits of cement broke off and I could feel them getting that out. I could feel the hip replacement being hammered in and drills and saws and everything. There was obviously no pain at all. It was so strange, but I could hear everything. And then when the consultant had like finished putting the hip replacement in and he was like I could feel him, like I felt when they dislocated my leg when they took the hip spacer out, then after they put the hip replacement in I could feel him like moving my leg all around crazy positions. It felt really weird. And then I heard him go lovely jubilee when it was all done. And then I think the spinal started to wear off because I felt being stitched up and it hurt a little bit. So yeah, basically what happened is they came, if you watch my video from the morning, because I did post a video about when I went to hospital that morning for surgery, and you'll see me sort of like being wheeled off in a chair. So they took me to the theatre and it was done on a new one. It's on Q floor at the Hallamshire, and it's really nice, really clean, really new, really modern. And I sort of went in the room for the anaesthetic, and the staff are so lovely. They were just like chatting to me about everything, making me feel as calm as possible. And I had the spinal put in. It's a little bit painful. And then my legs started to go numb. and then I lay down. Oh, they put a catheter in as well, so because I was going to have an epidural as well as the spinal, so that after my surgery I wouldn't have any pain, because the epidural could just like completely numb me. That was brilliant, by the way. And then they wheeled me into the theatre, and before they wheeled me in, the anaesthesiologist gave me a gin and tonic in my hand, which was a very mild sedative. And I'd already told him that before, in the last surgery, the last time, I had a lot of sedatives and I wasn't really aware of anything, and I might want the same again. But before I do agree to that, I want to see what it's like with hardly nothing, and being I wanted to experience it first, and if it was too scary, or you know, if I panicked, then he could always just knock me out. So that's what we agreed, and he gave me just this one gin and tonic, and then we went in the theatre room, and I was like laid on my side on the table, and they put this thing called a bear hugger on me, which is like an inflatable pillow, and it was so nice and warm. It's because they blast air down on you, and there's a big fan all in where they're operating, so you can get really cold. So that was really lovely and warm, and I was just laid on my side underneath this bear hugger, and that's it. I didn't have any more sedatives after that. I didn't obviously feel them start, but I felt like my consultant moving my leg around, and then the anaesthesiologist said they've started, and then I could feel sort of like maybe some clamps or something, I'm not sure. And then I asked the anaesthesiologist what they were doing about 20 minutes after that, and they said they were taking the hip spacer out, and that's when I felt definitely the ball inside, because the hip spacer was just a cement ball with some rods on it attached to the femur, and I could definitely feel like the ball being twisted around inside me and like crunching. It was the weirdest feeling, and I felt that come out, and then my leg was all floppy and I could feel them moving my leg around, and then there was like a hoover feeling, and that was like where they were sucking out like the bits of cement and like cleaning it out. And then I felt them put I heard a drill, like, or saw or something like that, and that was a bit scary. And again, no feeling or anything. I was just laid there thinking, this is so weird, like being able to feel all this. Obviously, I was relaxed because of the sedative I'd had, but it was just really weird. I remember thinking, like, this is like a really weird version of like getting your hair done or like having a pedicure, because you just laid there and you don't have any pain or anything, like you just lay there with something being done to you. And I don't want to say it was relaxing, because that is just, obviously it wasn't, but in a way, like I was just so glad it was happening and I didn't have any pain, and I did find it a bit like fascinating, and I really liked hearing it, because I like being more in control of my body. Like general anesthetic is not for me, and I liked being more aware this time and know what was going on. I know it's not for everyone, that's fine, but for me the fear is the opposite of like being not knowing what's going on. So I really liked knowing what was going on and hearing it all. So yeah, I heard when there was like some sawing and stuff, and then they said, oh well, now the hip replacement's going in, and I heard a very 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 loud hammering, like it sounded like building works, and I felt it inside as well. Like my body was like going up and down. Like I think there was some clamp around my waist too, because it sort of hurts, like just below like my bikini line now. But I definitely felt like I was being held into place, and there was a hammer and I felt it inside, and it was sort of like I could hear it inside as well. You know, if like you went to the dentist, and I don't know if you've ever had like a filling or anything like that, and it's like in your brain you can hear it. It was like that. I could hear it in my bones. So weird. It was like, and then it was like, and it felt like it sounded like metalworks. It sounded like Magna. It's so weird. And then after like the hip replacement was in, I felt them like moving my leg around again, and it didn't feel as floppy as before. It felt more stiff when they were moving it round. And between that and getting sewn up, I don't know what they were doing, but by the time I got sewn up, I think part of the spinal had worn off, because I could feel it. And that's when I got a bit panicky at that point, and my blood pressure dropped quite low, and the anaesthesiologist asked me if I could feel it, and I was saying, yeah, it hurts quite a bit. So he gave me a bit more sedative, because he didn't want me to have some more spinal, because it nearly worn off anyway, and I was getting the epidural. So he just gave me a little bit more sedative while they were stitching, but it literally literally felt like my entire leg was like being pulled together like that. I felt like I was being raised from the table. I don't know like what he was doing, but like I felt from, so I think he did 2 lots of stitches, because to begin with I felt them going in one direction, so it was like he started from the top, and then the second time it was like he started from the bottom and worked his way up, but he was like ragging me about. I don't know how my skin is that strong, and I was just thinking, I can't believe like he's closing me up and that's it, and once it's done, like it's done, and this hip is hopefully going to be in there for the rest of my life. Crazy feeling. And once that was done, that was done, and he was like, right, you're all done, and it was just crazy. And that's when they told me that I've lost quite a bit of blood, but I might be all right. It was 1.5 litres, and then I went into recovery, and because I hadn't had any general or anything like that, I was just like completely fine. I didn't feel sick or groggy or anything. I just felt incredibly thirsty because I've been nil by mouth, and obviously I've been breastfeeding all night and morning as well. But they didn't want to give me loads of water in case I was sick, so I only had a little bit in a straw, and I was in recovery for a few hours, and then I went back to ward, and that was that. And I'm just never going to forget that for the rest of my life. Hearing it all is just a mental, and it's definitely an experience. I'm never going to forget that. So yeah, I thought I'd tell you my story about getting a hip replacement. Yeah, I just can't wait for a huge change in life. This time next week, I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but I'm very excited. I'll see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas, and we're getting very close to Christmas now, which is very exciting. Now all this is over, I've had the surgery and everything, I feel like I can finally concentrate on Christmas. Up until now, it's like it's been sort of in the back of my mind, so it's very exciting times. I do hope you've had a lovely weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Gosh, it's like the entire size of my leg.
Hello.
Hello. To do a little step back again.